Okay, so we are continuing our conversations about the Montreal Canadiens and their goaltenders that are on the market. We've made a bunch of videos, and in fact, the last one talking about this individual player was made about a week ago. So this is nothing new. A lot of Canadiens fans that have been tuning into the rumor mill know exactly what there is to expect, because today we are talking once more about Canadiens veteran goaltender Jake Allen. Now, last week, we made an update as to how the New Jersey Devils and Carolina Hurricanes seem to have gotten involved in the trade discussions. That is all discussed there on the channel. If you're a fan of one of those two teams, then hey, it's all there on YouTube. But today, we're going over to an update made by David Pagnotta making an appearance on NHL Network. Because it's apparent that via Pagnotta and his sources, the trade talk for Jake Allen has apparently accelerated tenfold. This video was posted by NHL Network from 2 days ago on the 27th, and I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go ahead and listen to it. By the way, spoiler alert, the audio of the video is terrible. It's really bad. I was super shocked to hear that this is the kind of stuff that goes on TV. The sound guy must have been having a day off or something, because something is really wrong with this clip. But either way, within the confines of what is said on this video segment, there are a few updates regarding what teams are involved in Allen, and, of course, the general idea that says that the Allen trade talks have been amplified the past little while. In fact, this was expanded upon even more on an article published on the Fourth Period, which is David Pagnotta's website itself. Take a look at this piece published yesterday by David Pagnotta, Allen trade talks setting to heat up. Link is also going to be in the description if you want to go ahead and read this article, but essentially, the hit that was on TV is summarized on this article. The Canadiens have generated plenty of interest in their goaltenders, namely veteran Jake Allen this season, and they could move him before the trade deadline. The Oilers, Devils, and Hurricanes are among the teams that have poked around in Allen's availability this season, and other clubs could express interest as well. Now pause, none of these teams are new. The Oilers, the Devils, the Hurricanes, they're all conversations we have had in the past, but when it comes to the description, what exactly it is a team could be looking for if they were to pursue Jake Allen, Pagnotta goes out there and says this: for a team that's looking to bring in a depth goaltender, somebody that can be a 1B and that has cup experience, he's going to generate more interest in the next little bit. The article also reads that the Canadiens do not appear to be in a rush to move Jake Allen, however, and are comfortable keeping 3 goalies on the roster all season if the right trade offer does not present itself. In 12 games with the Habs so far, Allen has a 4.62 record along with a 3.43 goals against average and a 9.04 save percentage. Now, the numbers, the update, it's all fine and dandy. It's nice to hear that the Canadiens don't seem to be too keen or eager to move on from Jake Allen just yet. They're being patient with this. They're not going to force a trade. They're not going to take some BS return if it means just getting Allen off the roster. If they have to settle down and just continue with 3 goalies, they will, which is totally fine. Kent Hughes, you are not under any obligations to move on from these guys quickly, especially for Jake Allen, who is making $3.8 million till the end of next season. He still has an extra year on the contract. Now, this is where things get interesting, because there was an article published on NHLTradeTalk.com by Jim Parsons, also from yesterday, talking about how Jake Allen seems to be in high demand as teams are seeking goaltender fixes. This article goes out there and talks about a few other things. It highlights a Darren Dreger TSN piece as to how Jake Allen could be a trade candidate due to his impressive resume, and then the article itself goes out there and talks about other teams. As desperation grows among teams like New Jersey, Toronto, and Edmonton regarding their goaltending, Allen becomes an attractive option for those seeking insurance and stability. The market may heat up as teams weigh their options, making a deal involving Allen a viable consideration. The Canadiens, who are still in a rebuilding phase, may consider moving the veteran goaltender who has 1 more year left in his contract. Now, this is the kicker that I wanted to talk about too. The article talks about which teams have been linked, and they're all the same teams we've talked about in the past: New Jersey, Carolina, Edmonton, etc., etc. But then it says this: the Ottawa Senators, Seattle Kraken, and Colorado Avalanche are among the teams potentially showing interest in Allen. The Oilers, desperate for goaltending help, have actively scouted and discussed potential deals with the Canadiens. The Maple Leafs are trying to sort out their own issues, with Ilya Samsonov struggling and Joseph Woll being injured on the shelf for some time. There's a little bit more in this piece that goes over the analysis of the situation, but I wanted to talk about these two teams to end off this entire saga, you know? I'm gonna call it a saga because we've been making videos about every team under the sun, and whenever there's a new one that pops up in there, it's like a new Pokemon card that you just gotta go out there and collect. So, Jake Allen to Ottawa, or Jake Allen to Toronto. These are two very separate ideas, and ones that I think complement each other very well in a video. The Ottawa Senators have needed help everywhere. Pretty much. This team has been struggling, and they've been one of the worst in the Eastern Conference this season. In fact, they're currently last in the entire Atlantic Division. Oh, actually, they're last in the conference. Never mind. Of course, the numbers and everything may not be completely up to date because I'm recording this video a little bit early, but still, the Sens at the time of recording this audio have 26 points in 30 games played. Good enough for last in the East. Now, when it comes to the Sens and their goaltending, it's been not really the best. I mean, Korpisalo in totality has not had the best numbers, but I will say there were a few games recently where he actually did stand up on his head. The game against Toronto comes to my mind right away as being one of the highlights. Korpisalo right now has an .894 save percentage in 20 games played and a .354 goals against, with backup Anton Forsberg having an .87 save percentage and a .329 goals against. Not great, but if Jonas Korpisalo is really able to expand on that Toronto game and start stringing together wins, getting a bit more confidence in there, helping the team by instilling confidence within his defenders and forwards, there could be a pretty good recipe for success here that needed a little bit of time to start itself up. Not to say that Jake Allen is a significant upgrade over what the Sens have, but he does have a few better numbers this season in comparison. Allen with his .904 save percentage and .343 goals against in this season's worth of play for the Habs. However, Jake Allen I don't think is a good enough goaltender, quote-unquote, to come over to Ottawa and fix their problems, if you wanted to say that's the desired outcome here. You could very well say that the Sens are not good enough to significantly improve their position in the standings should they get an Allen over Korpisalo becoming their number one. Jake Allen can be the number one, we've known this from the past days he's had in St. Louis, but overall, I mean, Ottawa just may not be in a position where they could capitalize the most on what Allen has to bring. If you assume they're going to be alright to end off the season and then okay next year, does that really make use of Jake Allen and his 2 years remaining on the contract to the best of his ability? You gotta remember, Jake Allen himself, he's got a modified no-trade clause, so if he does get traded, he can decide where he goes. Meanwhile, for the Toronto Maple Leafs, we made a video just yesterday going over the idea of Marc-Andre Fleury heading over to the Leafs and how that was an idea that had been talked about online. It's interesting because the Maple Leafs have a good goaltender in Joseph Woll. It's just because his health is a little bit of a concern, because Ilya Samsonov is not good this season, because Martin Jones is not really the guy you could rely upon to be a consistent number 2 goalie for the remainder of the year. Maybe there is a goaltending trade the Maple Leafs go out there and explore as a result. And if Jake Allen is the guy, then firstly, the Maple Leafs would have to get that on salary retained. You can't be sending the full contract over. But secondly, Allen probably is a much more stable goaltender, I feel, than the other guys the Maple Leafs have. If you wanted to roll with a Woll-Allen tandem, make the money work somehow, and have it so that Ilya Samsonov is not really relied upon, nor is Martin Jones, Jake Allen has been a more than okay backup, especially as of late, so if the Toronto Maple Leafs wanted to go out there and capitalize on that, screw Marc-Andre Fleury. Sure, it'd be nice to have him and Matt Murray on the same team technically once again, but Jake Allen I feel is a little bit safer, especially when you consider the statistics this year. Fleury hasn't had the best season, and we talked about this and more in the video published yesterday, so I kind of do like the idea of Allen to Toronto. It's just, is that something Leafs fans would actually be interested in, and what exactly is the price? We'd been seeing a few conversations popping up there about Toronto prospects potentially being involved in trades, etc., etc. So if you're a Maple Leafs fan, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the idea of acquiring Jake Allen? Do you think this is actually a move you guys should explore? If you're a Sens fan, do you think it makes sense to go after a goaltender like this? Do you even want to make a goalie trade at any point throughout the remainder of the season, considering where you are in the standings right now? If you're a Canadiens fan, what are your thoughts about Allen getting sent over to one of these two teams? Divisional rivals, Canadian rivals, what do you think the price should be to make you feel okay with accepting a deal involving Allen? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Ottawa, Toronto, Montreal, articles are going to be linked in the description as well if you want to go ahead and read all this stuff. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.